biology. So I wanted to make a last minute video that kind of discusses some of the information that you should have picked up during the chapter 8.1 through 8.3. So just some basic things that you should know for your test. So photosynthesis, there are two different reactions. There's a light-dependent reaction and there's a light-independent reaction. You have to know both reactants and products for each of these reactions. So we also call the light-independent reaction the Calvin cycle. So the light-independent reaction requires light and water. It makes ATP and NADPH for the light-independent reaction and then releases oxygen. The Calvin cycle, or the light-independent reaction, needs carbon dioxide because we're fixing carbon. So if you remember Calvin cycle, carbon, that might be a way to remember what is needed, what the reactant is for that. And then we produce our sugar. And visible light is made up of many different wavelengths of light. Your eyes will see different sizes of waves as different colors. So as we can see in this prism here, the white light goes into the prism, and because of diffraction, it separates the colors and we see the rainbow. So many people think that plants are green because they absorb green light in photosynthesis, but that actually isn't true. We see what is reflected to our eyes. So light wavelengths that are reflected off objects bounce back to our eyes, and that is the color that we see. So this blue book appears blue because it absorbs all other colors of wavelengths other than the blue light. So blue light is reflected to your eyes. Okay, the dye in this red shirt absorbs all of the colors except for red. Red wavelengths are reflected to your eyes. So it's kind of we see this pattern here. Objects look black because dye absorbs, or black dye absorbs, all of the wavelengths of light. So nothing is being reflected to your eye. So when wavelengths are absorbed, so is the energy of that wavelength. So think about why you might be hot in the summertime if you wear those dark colors, because you're absorbing all of the sun's energy. The dye in white objects, we know white light is made up of all of the colors of the rainbow. Well, that means that all of the colors are being reflected to our eyes. So little energy is absorbed, and that's why it's cooler to wear lighter color shirts during the summer. So which wavelengths of light do the leaves reflect? So green leaves reflect green wavelengths of light. So that's what we're seeing. So we're actually not absorbing much green light at all. So plants gather the sun's energy with light-absorbing molecules. We call those, hopefully you know, as pigments. And the main energy-absorbing molecule in green plants is chlorophyll. We also have other molecules which we learned about in our chromatography lab, and we call those carotenoids. So those are the pigments that we're going to see in our carrots, okay? So that's what makes carrots orange. These look yellow, orange, and red. Green leaves have both chlorophyll and carotenoids. They have them all the time, with a huge amount of chlorophyll. So chlorophyll overtakes basically the leaf and hides all the other leaves. So in the fall, chlorophyll production is going to slow as the trees start to shut down for and photosynthesis stops for the winter. And that's why we see all of the different carotenoid colors that are usually hidden by that chlorophyll. So that's why we see all these pretty colors in this time of the year. So there are two types of chlorophyll. There's chlorophyll A and there's chlorophyll B. Chlorophyll A is found, is found in photosynthetic plants. It absorbs red and violet wavelengths best. Okay, so obviously you can see here it's reflecting a lot of green. So absorbed, or percent absorption. So if we have a large percent, that means it's absorbing that color. And again, we're reflecting a lot of green. It absorbs very little blue as well. Chlorophyll B is found in photosynthetic bacteria. And some red light and even more blue and violet light. Now, I can require you to know the colors of light that chlorophyll A and B both absorb, but you should know that they're not actually absorbing the green wavelength. They're reflecting that green wavelength. So neither kind of chlorophyll is very good at absorbing green light. So that's why leaves look green. Chlorophyll doesn't absorb it, it reflects the green light. Okay, so now we have to talk about the factors that affect photosynthesis. So amount of water obviously affects photosynthesis because it's one of the materials or raw materials that a plant needs. So a shortage of water can slow or stop photosynthesis. There are plants, however, that have modification to their leaves to help retain water so that during dry conditions, photosynthesis can still occur. As carbon dioxide increases, photosynthesis will increase because, again, it's one of those raw materials. As oxygen increases, photosynthesis will decrease. Okay, other factors that affect photosynthesis. Well, photosynthesis enzymes function best between 0 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius. So, and certain temperatures, because think about it, enzymes, when it is way too hot, they will denature. If it's too cold, molecules aren't moving very fast, so photosynthesis doesn't occur as quickly. So at temperatures above or below that range, it will slow or stop. Conifers in the winter may carry out photosynthesis only occasionally. So again, they have modified leaves. So temperature affects photosynthesis. And then last but not least, enzymes work under a certain pH in temperatures. So conditions that are too acidic or too hot cause proteins to unwind or denature, or enzymes to unwind and denature, meaning that photosynthesis will take place at a certain pH. Last but not least, light intensity. So more light increases the rate of photosynthesis up to a certain level until a plant reaches its maximum rate of photosynthesis. So this might be a good thing to have for your task, this concept map. So photosynthesis includes two different types of reactions. It includes the light-dependent and light-independent reaction. Okay, so the light-independent reaction we also call the Calvin cycle. Now, the light-dependent reaction uses energy from sunlight, and it takes place in the thylakoid membrane. The Calvin cycle takes place in the stroma, uses ATP and NADPH, which are produced in the light-dependent reaction. So light-dependent reaction produces ATP, NADPH, and oxygen. Oxygen is released. And then the Calvin cycle produces our high-energy sugars. Now, both the thylakoid membrane and the stroma are all found in the chloroplast. So again, I would copy this map down because it breaks things up really easily for you.